Good afternoon. Our chair, Pam Foley, couldn't make it, hence why I'm on the mic and chairing this meeting. So, how exciting. So I'm calling the meeting to order and roll call.
Batra,
Present.
Ortiz,
Present.
Kamei,
Here.
Torres,
Present.
fully absent.
Great. And then before I take public comment for the work plan, I'm going to kick it off to Rosalind, who will be speaking about our work plan.
Great, thank you so much, Chair Torres. So we do want to note several changes in the committee's work plan for this fall. And basically, we have two primary reasons. First, for a few items, we wanted to take additional time to do more community and stakeholder engagement as requested by the committee. And also just noting that staff, both in the Housing Department and Planning Division within PBCE, are having to dedicate more time to respond to the review letter that we received from the State Department of Housing and Community Development on our housing element. So we've had to shift some things around on the work plan. And so I'll just go through them real briefly. The first one is the Rent Stabilization Program Strategic Plan. We are requesting to defer that item 1 month, and again, that's for additional outreach and engagement to both our residents and housing providers. The tenant preference and neighborhood tenant preference for affordable housing status report, we are requesting to move that to the November CED agenda. For soft storage seismic retrofit policy, and rebate program, we are also wanting to do additional outreach and engagement on that item. So we are requesting to move that to the November CED agenda. Development permitting for residential additions or alterations, that is an audit report, and the city auditor has requested to move that item to the November agenda. And then the last two items, Berryessa Flea Market Status Report and the annual report on local and small business contracting participation. In order to have better agenda management for the committee meetings, we're actually moving those items up 1 month. So we're going to be moving those to November. And that concludes the changes.
Great, thank you. And actually, before I I can get a motion, I forgot to read the code of conduct. So
I move to accept
yeah,
it.
thank you. And then we'll go to public comment. But I forgot to do the code of conduct. So before we begin this meeting, which we already did, I want to remind the Community and Economic Development Committee members and members of the public to follow our code of conduct at meetings. This includes commenting on specific agenda items only and addressing the full body. Public speakers will not engage in a conversation with the chair, council members, or staff. All members of the Community and Economic Development Committee, staff, and the public are expected to refrain from abusive language. Repeated failure to comply with the code of conduct, which will disturb, disrupt, or impede the orderly conduct of this meeting, may result in removal from the meeting. Thank you. And before we go to public comment on the review of the work plan, I am limiting it to 1 minute for all 6 items. So we can go to public comment before we vote.
Blair,
Hi, Blair Beekman here. It's actually a really short agenda. I'm a little surprised you're limiting public comment. To comment, it's kind of nice that you have many items on the work plan agenda today. It's kind of a nice idea. It gives people a sense of how to, things they can think about and ask yourselves about. But the items of future retrofit, how people can be assured, and with the Berryessa things, flea market things, boy, real good luck with those issues. With the rent retrofit policies, I think you're at a point of doing about 80%. Hopefully, people can be secure that you can find something for them. Let's make it 100%, and that every single person can be guaranteed some sort of thing from this retrofit process.
Paul?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Anyways, look, the process, the chair needs a compelling reason why they limit public comment to 1 minute. Now, he went ahead and did it, and he's got the power to do that. But the fact that he did it with no compelling reason tells me even more so how inadequate and how incompetent this person is to chair.
He's not allowed to attack individuals. Can you please cut his time?
The importance of having public comment.
Back to the committee.
All right, let's take the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. We're moving on to the consent calendar, and we'll go with public comment. 1 minute for all items as well.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman, to comment on consent calendar. You have an annual report by the HCDC. Thank you. Arts Commission annual report also, and work plan. About the Arts Commission, you know, I've said it before about especially the downtown area. They're starting to get a bit involved with surveillance things and surveillance tech in the downtown area. Question that. If they are, learn how they can work the practices of surveillance tech as an open participatory community process. I think that's really interesting ideas of art and community and how to develop those kind of concepts as the future art commission projects and ideas. Think about it, it's important. I think Paul was trying to say something very important and should be allowed time to speak what he was trying to say. It was relevant to the subject matter as part of policies and procedures. Thank you.
Paul?
Paul Soto from the Horseshoe, the Quetzalcoatl statue. Now, it's not going to be tolerated that toilets are going to be placed there at Christmas in the park. Okay, and this is an Arts Commission issue because they should be the ones that are protecting the Quetzalcoatl statue. Now, it's not going to be tolerated. I'm telling you that now. I'm putting you on notice. It is no longer going to be tolerated that toilets are going to be placed by the Quetzalcoatl statue. In fact, I want that statue highlighted. I want that statue revered and given the proper respect that that statue deserves. Now, you know this is your district, homeboy, and so I expect you to do exactly what is necessary in order to protect that statue and no longer allow this city to continue to put toilets there because of what their opinions are of that statue. I'm telling you, and I'm putting you on notice, do not let that happen.
Back to the committee.
Great. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Let's go ahead and vote.
The vote was unanimous.
Great. And now reports to committee. So D1, Team San Jose semi-annual report. Always good to see our Team San Jose folks. And of course, Carrie as well.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Carrie Adams-Hapner. I am the Assistant Director of the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs. On behalf of the City Manager's Office, I manage the 2 agreements with Team San Jose. And Team San Jose, per those agreements, comes to the committee twice a year to provide an update. And we provide an update to you on their performance, as well as key indicators and trends within this sector. Team San Jose is a very unique organization. It combines the Convention and Visitor Bureau, as well as the management of the Convention Center and 4 of our city-owned theaters. So they have a very significant role within our community. They have a very significant economic impact, and also very much contribute to the vibrancy of our downtown. So with us today, we have a great team of Team San Jose. We're with the CFO, Ihab Sabri, Ben Roschke, Vice President Laura Shemaluski, and Vice President Matthew Martinucci. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ihab Sabri. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm going to present the Convention Center performance results for fiscal year ending June 2023. We're going to start on the left-hand side on the year-to-date actual numbers. Estimated visitor spending was $52 million compared to a budget of $44 million. Future hotel room nights was 111,486 compared to 111,000. Customer satisfaction was 100% compared to a budget of 95%. Theater occupied days was 91% compared to 74% of budget. Gross operating revenue was $33.5 million compared to a budget of $39 million. Gross operating results was $2.9 million compared to $643,000 of budget. I just want to highlight the gross operating results for fiscal year ending June 2023. $2.9 million. We overachieved budget due to some extraordinary income, like canceled fee. We had collected $2.5 million unbudgeted and projected. We also had some tax retention credit. We got $1.2 million going back to 2021. So those were nice extra income that affected our gross operating results, and we overachieved the budget. On the next slide, we're going to see the performance measure goals. For fiscal year 23-24, estimated direct visitor spending, $55 million compared to fiscal year 2022-23 actual unaudited numbers of $52 million. Future hotel room nights, 112,000 room nights compared to actualized number unaudited 111,486. Theater occupancy 91% flat to 22-23 at 91% as well. Gross operating results at $1.5 million compared to $2.9 million for 22-23. As I mentioned earlier in the prior slide, that we had extra money from cancel fees and some tax credit as well. Customer satisfaction, 95%, and 22-23, we achieved 100% in that category.
Good afternoon, council members. Happy to be here. Ben Roschke, Vice President of Research and Strategic Development. Just wanted to share, we hadn't been able to do this for a couple of years, doing an overall economic impact study for the hospitality industry. With COVID and reduced funding, we hadn't had the budget to be able to complete one. Very happy to do one again now and share some of the findings. So overall, for the travel and tourism industry within San Jose, it's a $2.4 billion direct spend for all visitors into the economy and a total economic impact of $3.2 billion. Just as a reminder, our strategy here overall as an organization is an economic development strategy to bring visitors into the city, have them spend their money, use very little city services, and then go home, thereby lowering the tax burden for all San Jose residents. This past year, travel to replace the spending that and taxes that were generated within that $367 million would have been an additional $560 per San Jose household. To put that in a little perspective, pre-pandemic, it was probably about closer to $1,000 per San Jose household that the travel industry was generating. Just a couple highlights within trends that we're seeing overall in this report to dig down a little bit further. If you look at the different legs that kind of make up the stool of travel, the two segments that are really not recovering nationwide, and it's felt very acutely here, is business travel and then international travel. Oddly, I mean, those are the two segments that we have very little control as a destination marketing organization over. With business travel, pre-pandemic, when Silicon Valley was, everybody was in office and traveling heavily, we had one of the best performing hotel economies in the country. And that travel just has not come back to the levels that we had hoped. And we're not seeing any indicators that in the foreseeable future we are going to return to those levels. So Matthew and Laura will talk about what we're doing to help fill that in with other segments like leisure travel and group business. But that is one segment that is continuing to struggle nationwide, and it was the primary segment that drove our hotel economy pre-pandemic. From an international perspective, there are a couple headwinds that we're facing. Our primary overseas market that we draw from is Asia Pacific. Those countries have been very slow to open. China is just starting to reopen travel. And in Japan, which was our primary overseas market, they have changed and are traveling less internationally, the consumer is focused on domestic travel within their country. We're also facing headwinds on a national level with extended visa wait times. That is slowing that down. But we're hopeful to see those segments continue to pick up as the Asian countries continue to reopen. And I will pass it over to Matthew to talk about group business.
Good afternoon, council members. It's an honor to be here with you today. In the world of sales, things are definitely changing. They're definitely changing for the better. And we are continuing to move forward, though some of the most recognizable events and groups that used to come to the city still have not come back, but they are starting to come back. So our focus with our team, which is fully deployed now with goal-carrying positions pre-COVID, is that there is a fierce urgency of now that we are trying as best as we can to bring business to the city as soon as possible. We do have to balance that with building our future, but we know that if we can bring a group in within the next 12 to 18 months, that is an absolute top priority for us. We like to call it a mosaic approach in the post-pandemic world. And really what it is it's just a philosophy that groups of all different sizes and revenue values can work in the city if we find the right place for them. And there is a seasonality, of course, to the business in the fall. For example, right now we're having some of the highest revenue groups of the year, but there are many other groups that we find that if we can just pick the right dates, that we can find a way to bring them to the city, and all of that has a positive effect on the economy. So we call it a mosaic because it's all different sizes and shapes and colors, but if you put it in the right place, it can put a nice picture together. One of the things that we're doing differently right now is we have an extensive integrated marketing campaign, which is multi-level, and some of it is paid media, some of it is sponsorships, some of it is visibility at conventions where we have large banners, and this follows directly a study that we commissioned recently that showed that planners need to be more aware of San Jose. We have a much higher awareness as a destination with attendees, but the planners who are doing the sourcing from the beginning have to become more aware of San Jose as a standalone destination. For many years, we were, positioning ourselves as part of the Bay Area or maybe the heart of the Bay Area. And much of the national and international focus for the Bay Area is negative now, and we think that San Jose has enough to stand on its own. And we have many things that are just because we're in a beautiful part of Northern California and with many other assets. So we're positioning ourselves as a standalone, beautiful Northern California destination, much less emphasis on our proximity to the greater Bay Area. One of the items that you've heard us talk about on multiple occasions is the hotel inventory downtown and our challenges with attracting large conferences. And so we are continuing to work with the properties in trying to see the bigger picture when we're competing with another destination. And just one data point from this past fiscal year, which is very important. In the last fiscal year, we only booked 4 less citywides than we did pre-pandemic. But because the size was so much smaller, there was a 50,000 room night difference in those events. And that speaks specifically to the groups that are 1,200 rooms on peak or greater. We were only able to book 2 of those in the last fiscal. And in 18-19, we booked 9 of those. So the difference in those 7 groups was 50,000 room nights. That really kind of encapsulates our situation when it comes to hotel inventory. And then we are being extremely aggressive with our travel and entertainment calendar and our sponsorship funding. And this is for citywides as well as self-contained groups. We're working more closely than ever with individual properties, saying, what can Team San Jose do to help you close that particular piece of business? It may only be 100 rooms on peak, but it's something that's good for the city. So we're engaged with the properties for the smaller events as well, not just the large ones. Thank you.
Hello, council members. Thank you for having us here today. I'm Laura Shimolewski, Vice President of Marketing and Communications for Team San Jose, and I'm very happy to present our marketing and communications results from the last fiscal year. As Carrie mentioned, we're different than most DMOs. As a matter of fact, there is only one other DMO in the country that has the model that we have. We are contracted as a venue management company, but we're also contracted as the Convention and Visitor Bureau. As such, our revenue generating efforts through marketing are both B2B, business to business, marketing to help fill our facilities, providing jobs as well as revenue back to the city, and also B2C, business to consumer marketing. Marketing to consumers directly to fill hotel rooms and drive immediate TOT. This slide reflects the results of consumer marketing from fiscal year 22-23. So all of our paid media plans delivered $34.49 for every single dollar we invested. Very important to note on this, the numbers on this slide are direct fiscal revenue. They're measured through digital tracking. These are not subject to any equations or any multipliers. This is real revenue. So our ads, I'm going to put this into sentences for you because I know a lot of numbers to look at. Our ads were served to 48.5 million people 145 million times. 9.1 million times those people engaged with the ad, either watching a video or clicking on the ad for more information. Those people searched for flights and hotel rooms 5.7 million times and then subsequently booked nearly 80,000 room nights and 31,000 flights into SJC. These purchases created $35.8 million in incremental revenue to the city. That's revenue directly tied to our advertising campaign. As I'd like you to note, these revenues surpassed last year's results. So in the last 2 years, our consumer visitation efforts added an incremental $71 million to our hospitality economy. That means $8 million in taxes and city fees. And this was all on a $2.4 million investment over 2 years. Again, these are real fiscal returns. These are not subject to equations or multipliers. This is real revenue. On the sales side, our B2B strategy creates awareness of San Jose in anyone who's showing a digital intent to plan a meeting or a convention, especially targeting those looking to plan a meeting or convention in California. Our goal is to create interest and then awareness of San Jose as a convention and meetings destination. We measure our results through leads generated that we can share with our sales team and through newsletters, a specific new meeting planner database, and RFPs generated. So you can see through our efforts in last fiscal year, over 3,000 total meeting planners signed up to receive more information on San Jose, and 121 RFPs were completed through our digital efforts alone. These slides are just to show you all the channels of communication we have open at any time, both with our B2B and B2C audiences. So you can see this number of channels where we're constantly talking to our potential visitors. Is really important in that it provides destination education, and then as our cultural partners or hospitality industry needs it, we can engage that conversation to drive visitation. We also have two powerful databases. Our leisure database is 81,000 consumers. Our meeting planner database is 7,600. We also, of course, invite and host media from all over the world. In the last 6 months of the fiscal year, 30 million people saw us in editorial content. That is in publications like the USA Today, the History Channel, Thrillist. Again, no cost to us except hosting and third-party editorial coverage. That's great. Thank you very much. We'd be happy to take any questions you might have.
Just briefly, I wanted to thank you for your presentation and let the committee know that in November, the City Auditor's Office will be presenting the audited results of their fiscal year for 22-23. So these are the unaudited results that we're presenting. And then this team will come back to the committee in the spring for its next update. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you. And we'll take public comment.
Paul?
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. I think that a $2.4 million investment generated over $30 million in revenue, and we got $8 million out of that. Team San Jose, you are doing an excellent job. Those are excellent numbers. Now, one of the things that I would like to point out, however, is that we market ourselves as Silicon Valley. You see, Sanho has its own reputation, and we need to really start marketing that rather than this BS moniker of Silicon Valley and somehow or another Sanho is just kind of like a part of that. Nah, chale, we are Sanho, we are San Jose. And when they took our name off of the international newspaper of San Jose Mercury, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Because when they took our name off that newspaper is circulated internationally, and that affected the marketing techniques.
Blair?
All right, thank you. Good words from Paul. Where I come from with this item, you know my feelings and the importance of tech accountability. It seems like you're still catering to local area people and what they can come down to San Jose for an interesting experience and good time. I think it's important to share the concepts of what we're working on with tech accountability and to really promote that and work towards that. That's the kind of thing people want to be around. They want to be around, safety and responsible practices. They don't want to be around how much more tech is now surveilling you. They want to be around tech that has good practices around it. And that's the stuff people want to be around and that we should be putting and working towards. And that's the way we build a future of sustainability, tourism, and economy, interestingly. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Great. Do any of the members have a question? Because I actually don't see any before I make my comments and questions. Okay, go ahead. But go ahead.
Thank you. Just very quickly, I think it's great data that you have. I'm just wondering if you have it available, disaggregated by different locations. I mean, we always think of, a particular space or anything, but there are other areas that, are kind of a little bit out there, but do quite well. So I was just curious in terms of, as we're thinking of doing things differently, how do we leverage what's working really well? And, I do know that the leisure travel has tremendously increased, and I think that's a factor of people wanting to get out. Business travel, I think, is never going to be the same. I think that we have to start thinking about how do we do combinations, right? And I know that in conferences, one of the biggest things is how do you do both virtual and in person? Nobody wants to do it because it costs so much and it's like an inconvenience. So I'm just wondering on the disaggregated information, as well as thinking about the way business is going to be conducted in the future is very different.
I can start, and then Matthew might have some thoughts on the group piece. But we are looking at investing in some new tools. The methodology behind this was really much looking at it. A lot of the data was pulled through federal databases and other things, so it was really this macro level for the city. We are looking at a couple tools that would help us look at that more granular within destination around points of interest, and also the ability for us to track, if we have a convention, how's the money not just brought into the destination, but how's it dispersed and moved around the destination to other districts. So yes, we're on that line. We're looking to make some investments and are looking forward to sharing that with you as we bring that stuff online in the next 12 months or so.
Great, great. And I don't know if you wanted to add anything else.
Just probably the biggest thing I would say is that looking forward looks very different than looking backwards in the groups that have been here. Not to say that none of the groups have come back, but it looks very different moving forward. And there are emerging industries that we have not solicited in the past. For example, biosciences is something that is far more involved in many, like even making concrete. I mean, they're so big, there's so much more there than we have been aware of, that it does give us a very rich target list of industries and companies to go after, because in the scope of 12 months, we do need some groups that are very strong on the revenue side and others that are more on the attendance side, and some that are just generating activity downtown for restaurants and bars and parking lots and retail. So really in the scope of the year, we do need a good mix of groups, but there are emerging industries that we're identifying and targeting.
Oh, that's really great. I'm glad you're thinking about that, because, if we can take those ingredients of what's working well in certain areas, it'd be good to kind of like bring it forward. And you mentioned how the planners who, go out there and look for places to have events don't really know San Jose. I really got to say that is a big challenge, right? Because I think that if they don't know or they don't hear, just recently I heard that the League of Cities, they were in Sacramento this year, and then the next 2 years they're going to be in Long Beach, and then it was a choice between San Jose and Anaheim, and for whatever reason, San Jose ended up being more expensive. I don't know the details, but I thought, wow. When you have an opportunity like that, we really need to bring them in a little bit closer, and maybe it's targeting some of the planners and inviting them, come join us, or whatever it is. So thank you so much for the report. That's all.
Councilmember Ortiz? I'll approve. There it is. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. First off, thank you to the Team San Jose staff. Really appreciate your work and the impact that's being generated for the city. In regard, I think my question was going to be similar to and in line with the Vice Mayor's question. I have also served on the California Latino School Boards Association with at the state level. And they do their association meetings, and they pick a big convention area, and everybody comes, and that helps the hotels. It spurs the entire economy. But in that organization as well, the just cost of the city of San Jose has just been out of reach. So I wanted to ask, like, how are we aggressively pursuing these opportunities, whether it's, school boards, League of California Cities, national realtors? What are we doing to make sure that they choose San Jose for their location?
both of you have excellent examples of some of the challenges we face because San Jose is not an inexpensive place to come have an event. And there are some tools that we can use for every group, and I'll give you an example of that. Since we manage the convention center directly and the theaters, we can discount the meeting room rental for that. Now that's a cost that a group can often avoid if they're comparing us to a single property. If they're, and that is something that we compete with frequently, that if you put 600, 700 hotel rooms into a hotel, they'll often waive the meeting room rental. So that is one reality, but we can discount that to a certain extent. Another tool that we have is it's essentially a strategic fund where we can use these funds to mitigate the costs that might be labor related or the food and beverage related. And so there are some guidelines for how that fund is governed. So every group does not qualify for it. So we do have to abide by those guidelines. And really what I would say more than anything, what we try to do with groups like this is find those dates where they are the most attractive, not even so much to the convention center, but to the hotels, because so much of the cost of attending these conferences is tied up in the hotel guest room rate, and maybe if they're driving, as many state associations and state organizations would be, people are driving their cars, so parking even is a point of negotiation sometimes. So I would say, discounting as much as we possibly can, because we do have costs. This strategic fund, HBID, is something that we can use if the group qualifies, and then really trying to find those dates where it fits, where it is the most attractive to our partners and to everybody who's involved.
Appreciate that. Do we have are we actively wooing them, taking them out, meeting with them? Do we build these relationships with these different organizations that may come to us?
Very much so. In fact, we have 43 events on our travel and entertainment calendar this year. They're different sizes. We took 25 customers to see the Tina Turner show recently at the Center for Performing Arts. And they had an absolutely wonderful time. And that was a good cross-section of customers. Some of them who have said, oh my gosh, I haven't been downtown since pre-COVID. So we have that chance to reintroduce the city, and these were all local customers in this particular case. Next week, I'll be in Florida, and a couple of the groups will be meeting with our USA Gymnastics. I'm sure you remember that just a few weeks ago we had that event. So now what we're doing is we're going to, over a barbecue dinner, we're going to start talking about the Olympic trials in 2028. And so depending on the event, there can be a very long window where you have to develop that. National Senior Games is a 2-week-long event in July. It's an incredible event. 15,000 athletes come for 2 weeks, and they have great disposable income. So they don't just come and do their event, but they go out to restaurants, they go to shows, they go shopping, maybe at Valley Fair. So these, it really depends on, there's a wide spectrum of groups. Some of them are very quick, some of them are longer, and we're close. I can't mention the name of the group, but we're close to signing an absolutely first-class corporate sales meeting for this coming February, which will be at least 3,000 room nights and probably $2 million just at the convention center. So when you take the economic impact of that group, it's probably $7-8 million over in a week in February. So that in this case, it's a very short window, because to book a group that big only 5 months in advance is a great opportunity, but they don't come up as often as we would like.
Okay. And finally, is there discussions with specifically on this topic with hotel management and other partners that maybe we could try to set some sort of, I don't know, some deals or something for these specific reasons to get people in? Because I know that once we get them in, that benefits everybody.
We have a special promotion specifically at the convention center for in the year, for the year business. So between now and June, as it relates to the hotel partners, there are the Brown Act. We can't get too involved with them regarding rates. It's something that would get us into significant trouble to actually be coordinating the rates that they quote. We can impress upon them the importance of short-term business. We can impress the need to have as large a block as possible, because that often is a consideration that they don't want to use 6 hotels in San Jose when they can go to somewhere else and use 1 or 2. And because then they have to negotiate 6 contracts, and their legal department has to work 6 times as hard. So we can impress certain things about the urgency of the business, but we're not allowed to get into the realm of rates and costs.
Okay. Well, hopefully they're watching. All right. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much for the presentation. And as you can imagine, as the downtown council member, right, it's always great to see all the amazing events that are happening at our convention center, right, or around our convention center, right? And so it's very important for all of us to work together to make sure that downtown continues to recover, right? And Vice Mayor Kamei and Councilmember Ortiz already harped on the how do we get businesses conference back, or school board conferences back into our downtown San Jose. So I'm not going to continue to talk about their concerns, because they were great concerns, and I'm so glad that they asked you all. But that is the delicate ecosystem that we have in our downtown, right? We're seeing recovery in other places and not in other areas. And so, right, with a resilient downtown, I hope that we can hopefully get there very, very soon, right? This February, you already mentioned there's a big conference coming, so yes, we're excited. Very excited about that. Office workers, of course, don't want to hop on that. I think it's important for office workers to come back to downtown San Jose, because then that brings the business conferences as well, right? So we need to continue to keep our eyes on that. I did have a question regarding business conferences, but Vice Mayor Kamei and Councilmember Ortiz already asked that question, and you answered it, so don't need to ask for it again. I do have 2 specific questions, and obviously if you can't answer, we could talk about it offline. But one is, do these numbers include the Beyonce and Taylor Swift concerts?
No, they don't.
Okay.
Those occurred.
A little bit after?
The economic impact study, I should have clarified this. It's done on a calendar basis for the data sources, and there's a very long lag time for the economics firm to compute everything. So this is for calendar 2022, our numbers. But this summer, those concerts did occur actually after our fiscal year, so they wouldn't be reflective of anything in this.
Great. So your numbers, when you come back, are going to be even prettier, right? Obviously, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, good. And then the other one is, you already answered my question, but we just obviously, we have Levi Stadium around the, in our own backyard, right? And I know that when you watch football, they don't advertise that it's really in the city of Santa Clara, or they don't put the skyline, the beautiful skyline of the city of San Jose, right? They still put the skyline of San Francisco. I get it, but it's in our backyard, right? And so so if somebody is playing the Niners, where do the visiting team stay? Do they stay in downtown San Jose, or do they stay in the city of Santa Clara?
They stay in San Jose.
Oh, great. So this Thursday, the New York Giants stayed at...
They do. The NFL teams stay primarily at one hotel that is very close to the convention center.
Okay, great. That's amazing to hear, actually. So, okay. Other than that, thank you so much for your presentation. Continue to do good work, and we're here as elected officials. I'm really happy that my colleagues asked the questions regarding the businesses conference, because downtown is for everyone. So thank you. Yeah, Vice Mayor?
I just have something quick to say. And, I was really pleased under your leadership, Councilmember Torres, and the mayor's office, that Team San Jose is also meeting with others, sort of in a collaborative way, because I think that as we start trying to figure out how do we move forward, how do we provide greater economic opportunity and diversity and development, that we coordinate together. And I just want to say that as a new council member, and I'm sure I share this with my other colleagues, we're here to help you help us, right? So I think that if there are things that you want to push out, we all have newsletters. We want the community to know that San Jose is open for business. And so the more that you can share with our council offices, the more we can also push it out. I mean, I know you do it through your channels, but we, from a neighborhood perspective, from a community perspective, will also let our neighbors know that, come on downtown, come on and experience, the Performance Center, experience, what's happening, that we are open. So I think that that's going to take a little while. So I just want to encourage that. Thank you.
A motion?
Sorry. I move that we accept the report.
Alrighty. No further discussion? We'll take the vote.
Vote was unanimous.
Great, thank you. And we're on to item D2, Housing Department's Performance Measures Audit Report. Thank you all.
Good afternoon, Joe Roy, City Auditor. I'm in the box with Rachel Vanderveen from the Housing Department and Eric Jensen from the City Manager's Office. I'm here to provide an update or a report on our audit of housing performance measures. The city should focus and align measures to support decision making. I'm just giving a verbal report today. So in recent years, the City of San Jose has prioritized preventing homelessness and creating affordable housing. The city's housing department plays a major role in achieving the city's long-term goals in these areas. Other housing services include rent stabilization and tenant protection programs, portfolio management of affordable housing loans, neighborhood capital investment, and others. Housing Department reports progress and activities of its programs in different ways, such as through performance measures included in the city's adopted operating budgets, Housing's annual impact report, online dashboards that you can find on their website, and others. The objective of this audit was to assess housing's performance metrics. Though this audit was focused on housing services and performance metrics, we do want to note that other departments may serve the unhoused community, have programs impacted by homelessness, or are involved in the city's affordable housing production efforts. We did not include those departments in this review. This work is intended to assist the administration to enhance the city's performance management system in line with its outcomes, equity indicators, and performance management initiative. We had just one finding, that the Housing Department can streamline and improve current performance measures. So Housing Department reports more than 200 performance measures in different forms across various reports and online dashboards. Many of the reported measures are important and useful for users of the information. Others are required because of the funding sources of the department. However, we did find that the city's operating budget can provide more useful and meaningful measures that better reflect department priorities. We also note that better alignment of performance measures across the various reports and dashboards would help users of the information better understand results, as well as save staff time in compiling the information. Lastly, we noted that housing can also better document consistent methodologies for calculating measures, as well as provide meaningful targets to put context around the results. So we had 3 recommendations in this area. City Manager's Office and the Housing Department should reduce and streamline the number of performance measures for the Housing Department, align measures across the housing's different reporting platforms, and document the methodology for calculating measures to ensure consistency. And lastly, report meaningful targets to provide context for the results. As I noted, there was just 3 recommendations. I want to thank the Housing Department, the Budget Office, the City Manager's Office for their time and insight during the audit process. The administration has reviewed the information in the report, and the response is shown in the report in the yellow pages. I ask you to accept the report and cross-reference to the October 17th City Council meeting. And with that, I'm going to turn over to Rachel to discuss the City Administration's response.
Thank you, Joe. And good afternoon, Vice Chair and committee members. Rachel Vanderveen, Assistant Director with the Housing Department. So, yes, I just wanted to start out by, again, thanking Joe and his whole team for preparing this report. They did a wonderful job and actually really brought to light some things that were helpful for us to further understand and see all together in one place. So the administration concurs with the 3 recommendations that are included in this report. These items will be added to the Housing Department's work plan, and we will be working on implementing these recommendations throughout the coming year. This effort will allow our department to better understand and to communicate outcomes from the Housing Department to our community. These recommendations are consistent with the work that we are currently doing right now as part of the Community and Economic Development City Service Area. And in this effort, we are updating both our mission and performance measures as part of the city manager's outcomes, equity indicators, and performance management initiative. And I specifically want to thank Eric and his team for all of the work that they have already done with our group to bring this work forward. And we are going to be presenting new performance measures and all of this work as part of the upcoming budget process, so you will see it in the coming months as well. So with that, we are available for any questions that you have.
Great, thank you. Public comment?
Paul?
Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. Thank you again, Joe, for providing very objective information. However, this is incomplete, and not because of you, Joe. It's incomplete simply because the city doesn't want to be called out on its inadequacy and incompetence in the way that it is, its lack of production of affordable, low ELI, BLI housing. Now, the vice mayor beautifully checked Kirsten on that issue a couple of weeks ago. I recorded that and I put it on my Facebook page because it was excellent. Excellent the way that my vice mayor checked the housing and let them know unequivocally that it is no longer okay to not be targeted. That if you aren't targeted, then what you are doing is you're actually wasting our time. Quit wasting our time, because people are literally dying. They're living in fear. They're living in uncertainty, and that's not okay because of what this housing has.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thanks a lot for this item. To try to add to Paul's words, for me, the idea, I'm trying to consider the concepts of comprehensiveness in your efforts. You know, when we got a whole bunch of new COVID funding, it was my real hope that we could start doing some more comprehensive services as the housing department, like beginning to end counseling services and help and advice. Good luck. Is Jackie retired? She is retired. Have you guys hired a new housing chief at this point? I think Rachel Vanderveen would be a very good housing chief for us for the future of San Jose. She has a good reserve in how to work and stuff. With items like that was spoken about earlier about the future of retrofit housing and how we find housing and help for those people. We got about an 80% good rate going. How can that be 100%? It's those sort of things. How can we work towards 100% of things?
Back to the committee.
Great, and I will have Councilmember Batra.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for that report. And And Joe, it is amazing that your audits get accepted by the people you audit 100% of the time. In this, every report I've seen, so the amazing work you do, because you go in as somebody telling something is not right, obviously you tell improvements, but they accept your recommendations. So first of all, thank you very much for doing that work so objectively and so collaboratively that they accept your reports. Now coming to the housing area. Rachel, you have a very, very complex area to report. Your activities, however well you do, because of our situation in the city, for all the things which we have not done or have done wrong, you get to report the bad news about that. Because the need is so much, and whatever you do, you cannot come up to the expectation that they have been done correctly, or they have been done fast enough, they've been done cheap enough, and they've been done right enough. So I sympathize with your situation, what you have to report. Going back to the areas of the performance indices, the rule in the industry is what gets measured usually gets done, okay? So having 200 items to report, it takes a lot of staff time. And it can, if you're measuring the wrong things or reporting the wrong things, effort is wasted in terms of collecting the information and probably also leads to making the decisions relevant to those which are probably not productive enough. So I'm glad that you had this audit. Hopefully you're going to streamline out of this 200 or so measures to be the ones which are going to help us make the decisions, because we have pretty tough decisions to make in this area. So you're going to save some staff time. I see your work plan, it's going to be till 2024, which means you have to continue doing what you're doing and also have to work on improving this thing. I hope you can get it done sooner so that you can discontinue some of those items and be able to focus on the new ones, okay? One area, Joe, in terms of figuring it out, whether these 200 of them are relevant, did you talk to the people who are actually the users of this data?
So that's a great question. So during our audit, we did speak with program managers and staff to get an understanding of which ones they're using, which ones they may not be using, or what have you. I do want to clarify, of the, all the number of measures that we're talking about, a lot of times there's different slices of the same data set. And so one of the challenges is, okay, we take this data set, we're going to look at all these different aspects of it. Which ones are the most important from a reporting, from a transparency and accountability standpoint, and which ones also help decision makers, whether it's you all at the dais or those within at the program level. And so again, when we're looking at these, it's like, okay, we got all this different data, all this different data and different slices of the data. Which ones are most meaningful? Just to put context. But yes, we did talk with different program staff, and often what is some of the data that's being reported is because there's a question that came to them, and so they just start reporting that, whether it's from the public, from the dais, from another department, from a funding agency, and then just kind of seem to get built into it, and then they wouldn't call. And I think that's what we were finding.
Okay. So I would suggest that as you implement the new measures, some you're legally mandated, some agencies are going to require so that they can look busy with their work so that they get your data. But please keep, wherever you have discretion and you have contact with the users, without even an audit, see if they're getting the data which is helping them do the decision making, and not have to wait for audit, because you're not going to get Joe's attention that quickly either, second time. So I would suggest that as you implement this, please check with those people to get the feedback that you are really getting you're giving them the data which helps them make the decisions and not just add one more report to their purpose. So with that one, Chairperson, I move that we accept the report. It's an excellent report, and it's going to be very useful. Thank you.
And cross-reference, please.
Yes, thank you, Joe, for that. You have to mention the cross-reference, Councilmember Batra.
Okay. Let me make sure I do that.
Yeah, just say
and cross-reference? Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, was that good enough for our attorney, by the way? Rosalind, was that good? Okay, all right. And I heard a second. Good. All right. Rosemary? I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Kamei?
Thank you. It was a really good report. Having 200 performance measures is really, really a lot. I mean, I took a look at Exhibit 2, which is the housing program's focus, and it shows how it has really shifted, like the housing focus has shifted due to available funding. And one of the things I think, it's always nice to be able to have the funding, but I think that if you stretch yourself too thin, sometimes you may have to say no, right? So I think that being a little bit more strategic, especially if you only have limited staff to be able to do the work, I would suggest thinking about whether or not the funding, and I know that especially like federal funding, it requires so much reporting. I think that we ought to, think about the trade-offs, right? So I thought that was very interesting. The other thing that I found interesting, if I could turn this thing on, hang on just a second. So I really like this finding because I thought that it really spoke to a lot. Clear and meaningful targets can provide insight into incremental progress toward larger goals. I think that's going to be really, really important. And so I just want to emphasize that as something that I hope gets the attention it deserves, because I think that as you start thinking about work that you're going to do and focus on versus work that you may not get to, making those trade-offs I think are going to be important for the future. So thank you for that. And thank you for the report.
Thank you so much for the report. Super important, and I believe that Councilmember Batra and Kamei already expressed a lot of the stuff that I had, so we can take a vote.
Vote passes unanimously.
Great. And we are on to public forum. 1 minute.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman. Hopefully my sound quality will be okay. Speak to the efforts of level of the past 10 years now. Good guidelines, legal practice, and best practices have been developing from a number of places in human rights, civil rights, and worker rights ideals at the local level in this country since the generational genocidal events of 9/11 and 19 of the past 20 years. These are good guidelines and legal examples we now have at the local level that can help a more shared open process of community dialogue that is naturally meant for each local community to help redefine and reestablish their best practices at this time. This is effort at the local level to work towards open community dialogue, public oversight, public good negotiation, more open participatory democracy, and not secrecy, inclusion, or opacity to address local accountability. These are guidelines, practices, and legal examples of peace and our better human reasoning that specifically tries to.
Paul?
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. I really hope that Vice Mayor Kamei is considering a run for mayor. At this particular time in our evolution as a city and in this particular point of transition, in terms of gentrification, the lack of housing, all these other points that I have seen over the 6 months, my vice mayor push back and challenge and accurately reflect what it is that the conditions are in the community, and then reflect that back to staff in order to challenge them to create a policy that is consistent with that. I am thoroughly impressed. I hope you're considering this because you will have 100% of my support, and of the people that support me will back you 100%. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Right, that's it. Meeting is adjourned.